WPLG 715, Fireman Kenny's on the air, helping you to stay safe in a world where danger never takes a vacation. On this episode of the Fireman Kenny Show, we interview Perinatal Coordinator Staci Bohling from the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin West Bend campus about Safe Sleep Month. Welcome back to all 12 of our loyal listeners to another installment of the Fireman Kenny Show podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the Fireman Kenny Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or whatever platform you're listening to the show. October has been declared Safe Sleep and Sudden Infant Death Syndrome Awareness Month. According to the U.S. Breastfeeding Committee, approximately 3,500 infants die annually in the United States from sleep-related infant deaths, including sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS. Sudden unexpected infant death, or SUID, and SIDS disproportionately impact families of color, especially Black, American Indian, Alaskan Native, and low-income families. On this episode of the Fireman Kenny Show, we interview Perinatal Coordinator Staci Bohling from the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin West Bend campus about Safe Sleep Month. Before we begin the podcast, we would like to mention our sponsors. For over a century, the National Fire Sprinkler Association has been advocating for a stronger industry and a safer world by promoting fire sprinklers in model codes and legislation. Their mission is simple: to protect lives and property from fire through the widespread acceptance of the fire sprinkler concept. Be sure to follow the National Fire Sprinkler Association on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You can visit the National Fire Sprinkler Association website, www.nfsa.org. We would also like to thank our friends at Fire Suppression Solutions, distributor of fire suppression products for the fire service and for home use. You can follow Fire Suppression Solutions on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Now a word from Fire Suppression Solutions.
Fire can strike without warning, leaving you with precious little time to react. And if you are not prepared, the damage can be devastating to life and property. In the blink of an eye, your home or business could be on fire, with flames doubling in size every 30 seconds, leaving you helpless and unable to respond. Don't let this nightmare become a reality. That starts with being prepared. Our fire suppression products are designed to equip you with an effective response to any fire emergency, all while limiting additional damage, making you the true first responder, giving you the peace of mind that you have what you need to keep your loved ones and property safe until more help comes. Do you have a plan to respond to a fire emergency at your home or business? Protect your family, pets, and property with the tools from Fire Suppression Solutions. Contact us today and finish putting your plan into effect before it's too late.
For more information on Fire Suppression Solutions products, you can visit firess.us. Welcome back to all 12 of our loyal listeners to another installment of the Fireman Kenny Show podcast. Cribs for Kids has declared October as Safe Sleep Awareness Month. With us on this episode is Staci Bohling, Perinatal Coordinator for the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin West Bend campus. Staci, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I am a labor and delivery nurse in the Froedtert West Bend Birth Center. Currently, my title is Perinatal Coordinator, and I work with patients throughout their pregnancy, and I have other community engagement roles, and one of my focuses is safe sleep. This is really an important information for our patients, as well as everyone in the community who takes care of children under the age of 1. I've been working with Cribs for Kids for over 6 years, working on safe sleep, bringing it to our community at different levels. And we are a certified gold level Cribs for Kids hospital, and we are the only hospital in Wisconsin that holds this certification at this point.
So Staci, we have an awareness month dedicated to safe sleep for children under the age of 1. What are the reasons we need to be aware of safe sleep for these children?
Because in the United States, 3,500 infants die every year. We see babies that are put on their backs, which is the recommendation, but are placed in unsafe sleep environments. These environments could be an adult bed, having loose bedding or stuffed animals in the bed with them or in other unsafe sleep environments.
So Staci, there's a lot of things that parents do need to know, and we have a lot of old wives' tales that are myths versus truths. So let's talk about some of these myths versus truths, such as babies sleep better on their stomach. Is that a myth or is that true?
That is a myth. The fact is actually when they sleep on their side or their stomach, it actually increases the possibility of them dying from SIDS because they are going to rebreathe more of the carbon dioxide than they're getting oxygen. When we sleep on our bellies, we can move our head and get more oxygen when we feel like we can't breathe. Babies can't do that because of the strength of their neck. So that's why we say placing your baby on their back is the best position for them.
So we've established the fact that a baby should sleep on their back. However, one of the myths may be that a child sleeping on their back could end up choking on their own saliva. So what kind of things should we be aware about with this myth?
So babies actually have a natural reflex that covers their airway if they would throw up or have too much saliva in their mouth. So they will actually block their airway with this reflex, meaning that the vomit will come out. So they are not going to choke in their sleep on their back.
So we have another potential myth that soft bedding, bumpers, or positioners make a crib safer and cozier. Why is that a myth?
Actually, the babies should not be laying with soft bedding or any soft blankets because they can't position themselves and move away from that soft bedding. So they form an indent in that soft bedding and then they can't expand their lungs and get a nice deep breath of air like we can. These surfaces also increase the risk of suffocation if they get face down on that mattress, couch, or any other soft surface. Bumper pads should never be used. Back in the day, those cribs had wide slats. Now they're standard, so you're not going to have your baby get their head stuck between those bars anymore. Bumper pads actually pose a risk of suffocation because babies can get tight up against there and not be able to get any air. Positioners, or wedges as some people call them, can also block a baby's airway and make it difficult for them to breathe. If you think about the baby's throat as the size of a drinking straw, it is very tiny. So if that drinking straw is up and down, you know that liquid comes out of your cup very easily. But when you bend that drinking straw, that fluid does not come out, meaning they can't get air into their lungs. So think about that straw when you're laying a baby somewhere and think how their neck positioning can cut off their airway.
Staci, you said there should not be any soft bedding in the crib. So why don't we tell our listeners what they should have in the crib for children less than 1 year old?
Your crib should have absolutely nothing in it. It should have a tight fitted sheet on that mattress, and the only thing that should be in there is your baby, who should be swaddled, so meaning no loose blanket, or in a sleep sack, and they may have their pacifier. You should not have any loose blankets in that sleep environment because it does pose a suffocation hazard. Swaddling is the best way to sleep your baby safely, so wrap them in the blanket. This technique also helps babies that are fussy and fidgety, and that helps them fall asleep. Make sure they're on their back and swaddled. And people ask me, well, how do I keep my baby warm in the winter months if I just have a swaddle on? So we recommend that you dress your baby in one extra layer of clothing than you would wear to bed. So if you would wear pajamas and then have a blanket, we would recommend that t-shirt or a long sleeve shirt underneath their swaddle to keep them warm at night. We do not want to put any hats on our babies. Hats are meant for outside. So wear your hats outside in winter, but not in your bed. And we also recommend not having any bows or hair ties in those girls' hair because that also can come down and either be a strangulation risk or a suffocation risk.
So Staci, we're going to talk about co-sleeping, and one of the worst calls that I had that I can think of is a 3-day-old cold sleeping death. It was like at 3 a.m, and we had to respond to that one. So why don't we talk about co-sleeping and what the do's and don'ts of co-sleeping with infants should be?
When a parent says to me that they co-sleep with their baby, I ask them what they mean by that, because there's two different ways you can explain that. One is bed sharing and one is room sharing. So bed sharing is very dangerous for babies because our adult beds are way too soft for babies. They sink in, they sleep too close to their parents, causing a suffocation risk. There's pillows, there's big blankets. So we recommend what we call room sharing. Room sharing is having your baby in your room, but in their own sleep environment. So a pack and play, a crib, or a bassinet. And then they have their sleep space and you have yours. So always go with the room sharing. The AAP recommends that you can do room sharing for the whole first year. Most people can do about 6 months.
So Staci, a lot of the stuff we've hit so far has to deal with when we put the baby down for the sleeping at night, but let's talk about some of the other places that babies may have to sleep during the day when it's nap time, or if the parent is somewhere else other than their own home. What other kind of tips do you have for sleeping in other places?
So we will say that babies should always sleep on their back, alone in their own sleep space for every sleep. So that means during the day when you want to snuggle on the couch with your baby, please do not nap together with your baby on the couch. The risk of couch sleeping is babies can fall in between you and the edge of the couch, meaning they're going to fall off the couch, or between you and the cushion, causing suffocation. So again, if you want to sleep near your baby, my recommendation is have a pack and play and sleep in the living room with them in their pack and play and you on the couch. We also do not recommend that they sleep in any type of play equipment. So do not sleep in a swing, a bouncy seat, anything that's inclined, because those, again, will put stress on their neck and bend their airway over, and then they won't be able to get any air. So for every nap, we want them flat on their back.
So Staci, a lot of our listeners are in prevention positions where they're going to use this information and go out in the public and talk about the dangers involved with co-sleeping and safe sleep. Why don't we talk about the statistics that go along with this that show that it's a problem?
So before 1992, over 8,000 babies died of SIDS and sleep-related deaths in the United States every year. So since changing those recommendations from stomach to back positioning, that number has decreased by over half, which is amazing, but we still have a lot of work to do. There are still 3,500 deaths every year in the United States, and we see that from unsafe sleeping environments. So of those deaths, 97% occur in a sleep environment. 56% of those infant deaths occur in an adult bed. 86% occur with soft objects or loose bedding in that sleep environment. To bring it to Wisconsin, 1 infant dies every week in the state due to sudden infant death. 172 infants have died due to sudden infant death in Wisconsin from 2019 to 2021. And then from 2019 to 2023, there were actually 6 cases in Washington and Ozaukee County. So we really want to make sure that everyone understands that no one is exempt from sudden infant death syndrome.
So we've gone over some really great safety tips for safe sleeping. Why don't we go through what the National Institute of Health has to say about safe sleeping?
So the other things that we like to talk about is keeping your home smoke and vape free during pregnancy and after, because babies who come in contact with smoke or vape actually can increase their risk for breathing issues. We also want to make sure that we stay away from drugs and alcohol during your pregnancy and after, because that will keep your baby safe as well, because it keeps you from being inhibited by those substances. We want to avoid any devices that go against safe sleep guidelines. So we want to make sure that we're using devices as they're intended. So we want to make sure our swings and play equipment are used while baby is awake and can interact with them. Another tip is feeding your baby breast milk. This is very important, and it actually helps decrease the risk of SIDS by 50%. Avoiding your baby getting too hot. So not having head covering on or too many swaddles or too many clothes on them. We do not want them to overheat because that also sends a message to their brain to reduce their breathing. We also want to tell you that you do not need to use any monitors for their breathing, such as devices that hook up to your phone that keep track of their respirations or their oxygen level. Those are unnecessary. If those were needed, we would not be sending you home from the hospital. Again, we want you to share a room with your baby, but not your bed. We want to avoid swaddling your baby once they can roll over. So around 3 months of age, babies start to learn how to roll over. So in order for them to do that, they kind of need their arms free. So if your baby loves their swaddle, you can still use it, but please swaddle them underneath their arms so they can use their arms to move around. Make sure you keep everything out of your baby's sleep area, like stuffed animals. They don't understand what a stuffed animal is, and they don't need it right now. Make sure you always take your baby to their well baby checkups, and we encourage the vaccines and any other health recommendations that your provider gives you. Some people worry about the neck strength of babies since they're sleeping on their backs, but what we want you to do is do tummy time. So tummy time is putting them on their tummy when they're nice and awake and playing with them, reading to them, showing them different things that helps build that neck muscle and actually helps them get ready for crawling. Pacifiers are safe sleep, so you can have that in the crib with them. You can offer that pacifier. If they don't take it, that's fine.
So Staci, these are a lot of really great tips. Where can people go to get more information on safe sleep?
So you can go to the Froedtert West Bend Hospital Birth Center page, and there is a whole page on safe sleep and recommendations. I would also tell you could look up Cribs for Kids. They have great information and actually education modules that you can take as a parent or a healthcare provider or even a first responder. Children's Alliance of Wisconsin also has a lot of great information, and the group that tells us the most about our safe sleep guidelines is the American Academy of Pediatrics, and they have a whole bunch of safe sleep flyers and different information that you can use.
So Staci, this has been a really great discussion on safe sleep for children under 1 year of age. So do you have any final thoughts for our 12 listeners?
Sure. I ask that you take this information and share it with your friends and family. And any first responders out there, please educate the families that you come in contact with. Remember the ABCs of safe sleep for every sleep. A is alone. Do not bed share. Infants should be placed on their back on their own sleep surface. Do not let them sleep with parents, siblings, or any other caregiver. B is for back. Never place your baby on their stomach or their side. Place your baby to sleep on their back. If you sleep them on their stomach, it actually doubles their risk of death. C is crib. Infants should always sleep in a safety-approved crib, bassinet, portable crib, pack and play, free of soft objects, pillows, blankets, stuffed animals, and bumper pads. The crib mattress should always be firm and have a fitted sheet on it.
We would like to thank Staci Bohling from the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin about Safe Sleep Month. For more information on safe sleep practices, you can visit the Safe to Sleep page on the National Institute of Health website. Join us on our next episode when we interview Matt Ellis from the Chimney Safety Institute of America about Chimney Safety Week. WPLG 715, Fireman Kenny is returning to quarters.
They answer the call to be there for you whenever needed. Sherwin Industries proudly salutes our first responders. Here's another important message on Jammin' 98.3.
I'm Division Chief Guy Santelli with the Kenosha Fire Department. Working smoke alarms save lives. In today's homes, smoke spreads very quickly. Nearly 3 out of 5 house fire deaths occur in homes with no working smoke alarms. To keep your family safe, test all smoke alarms monthly. Make sure to install smoke alarms in each bedroom, outside of each sleeping area, and on every level of your home. For more information, please visit firepreventionweek.org.
Jammin' 98.3 and Sherwin Industries are proud to salute our first responders. Get more information and links to first responders throughout Southeast Wisconsin online now at jammin983.com.